We greet you this day in light and love, and know that all is a matter of interpretation. It is a matter of perspective. It is a matter of understanding that life is not as it appears to be, but is as you perceive it to be. Do you see? Many occurrences can be seen by the one or the other, and they may seem oh so similar, but the perception and the understanding and the unique expression that is interpreted by the one is the way that that life is evolved and moving from and to, because there is that interpretation that perhaps is not the way the experience was meant to be. It was not the way the person meant for something to be communicated, but it was the interpretation and perception and limited life lens that caused the one to look upon what they perceived in, let us say, perhaps not the most positive way. And so know that as you progress and traverse this life and as you move about, it is most important to release the mental meanderings of the mind, to release what the mind perceives as protecting you from this or that occurrence. And do you see that when you allow the mind to take hold and to then focus on what the mind suggests, that you then grow that occurrence, you grow that understanding, and you allow that to take form within your being and world and future. And so this is why you must remain and maintain as the mental monitor, so that you do not allow what is, might we say, not true, might we say colored in a way, or flavored in a way, or seen in a way that is not as it is and need not be. But the mind does judge. That is what the mind does. And it judges, and it relates, and it says, this one or that one or the other is trying to put you down, is trying to usurp, is trying to do something that the one or the other is most certainly not trying to do, for they are in their own quagmire of understanding. And so you must relinquish, release, and not focus on what the mind suggests that you focus upon. For it is quite simply not necessary. It is quite simply a waste of time. It is quite simply that which it need not be, because when you give focus, intention, power, permanence to the words that you hear mentally, you then grow that mentalness, that mental occurrence, and now something which was not becomes something which is. And now your day may be totally different. Your day and your week may change, because now you perceive something that was not as it is perceived by the mind. And do you see that the mind was a tool? The mind is the means for you to navigate this life in a fearless sort of way. But the mind has used fear as a bait tactic and a means to entrap. And it is not meant in a negative way. It is just meant as a means of control. For it is used to controlling and navigating the ship, your vessel, which you, as conscious awareness, must be the one who does just that. And the only way that you can do just that is that you recognize what the mind is and what it is not. And it is not consciously aware as you are to be consciously aware. It does not have the means by which to maintain that consciousness, for it does not understand spirituality. It is not within its line of thinking. And so when you seek spiritual objectives, when you seek spiritual reckonings and understandings, the mind will move you off and away because the mind has a checklist. The mind has a number of things that you must accomplish. You must do this and you must do that and you must be here and you must be there. And oh, how that is so important. But do you see that when you slow the mind, when you take in life, that life then can be an odyssey? It can be more than you ever imagined it to be. And you recognize from time to time that some offering, some understanding, some thing that you wanted to accomplish did not occur as you thought it might or should. And now it does not feel as it did once upon a time to do this or that thing. And so your feelings toward it shifts. Recognize that you must shift too. That you need not stay with this thing that no longer brings you joy or happiness or any kind of aspirational objectives. You must move with the time. You must move away from that thing that once brought you joy because now it does not. You must move to do that thing that brings you that joy because that is the means of navigation. That is the way that you know that you are moving toward your purpose. That is the way that you know that you need not be where you once were. That change is always preferred. Yet you see many do not want change, and they dig their heels in and stay in the quagmire in which they do exist, hoping that something will be different than it was once before. And so if you find yourself within that situation, then you must look and connect to your heart and recognize from that heart space that this is where you will find your long-term solutions. It is not a mental thing, it is a heart space thing. And recognize that the heart is the tethering to the soul, to that higher presence, to the objective that you are here to accomplish. And do not lose sight that the accomplishment is the reason that you are here. For losing sight of that means to move into tasks and checklists and objectives that are, quite honestly, of no importance or significance. For in time, the checklist will change and alter, and there will be more items on the list. And you will need to accomplish those. And oh wait, there are more. And so know that you must choose wisely, for this life passes much more quickly than you may see right now. And you may turn around and discover that there are many years that have passed from this moment in time. And you may not be much further on that path for having dillied and dallied in other objectives that bring not a measure of worth. For when you leave this life, you cannot bring any of those things with you. It is the energy you keep. It is the service to others. It is the things that are intangible that will become the tangible reality from which you move to from this one. And so we want you to understand the significance of what understanding some of this is. And it is not that you need to do it today or tomorrow or the next, but check in and know as you contemplate or you meditate or you move into those spaces, as you enter into the crossroads of life, that it is the contemplative moments. It is those meditative moments. It is the time when you still the mind and ask within what is significant, what is of value, what is necessary within the dynamic of this life. That is then the significant parameter, the significant crux of it all, so that you know if you are moving in the right direction, in the right way, in the right pathway, so that you get about doing why you are here in the first place. For there have been many, even those within this room, who have been here more time and of a lifetime than they might presume otherwise. And we might even say before you knew that time existed in this time. And so know that there is more time, for you came from no time. And so time is insignificant in that parameter of thinking. Time is not critical. But we would say that because of the numerous, and we would say more than you would care to think of, times in which you have incarnated, that you might recognize that there will be more incarnations and more time and more lifetimes until you decide that what you set out, what your soul set out to understand is accomplished. You will return to satisfy the agreement which you, as we speak your soul, agreed upon in order for you to have this and other life experiences. And so it is all a choice. It is all what you might consider your priority. It is what you determine is worthwhile for you to make time to do. And so know this. Know that there is no deadline. There is no end time. It is for perpetuity, because that was the agreement that was crafted once, we might say, quite a while ago. And so we wanted you to start with this understanding so that today, tomorrow, when we progress and move forward, that you might contemplate on this suggestive wording, this understanding, this principle, this premise, so that you recognize that there is more to this game of life than you may recognize now. And that you might get about making this a priority. And that might you move in a way of haste. For this life will be no more faster than you might recognize, for it is fleeting. The body is impermanent, and it is not meant to be permanent, or you would have a different type of vessel. But we and you and all know that as the body does shift in age, there is not the need for this or that or the other. For at the end of the day, it is the body vessel and the health of the body that will maintain and will establish what you determine to be the later years of your life. And if you allow negative energy to remain in your body while the body is fully engaged and ready to move that energy out and away, then you have not allowed the body to heal by shifting and changing and extracting what is of no purpose or value. And so release negative energy. Release that negative energy and move into a proximity where there is the ability to have a happy and healthy and whole later years of life. For it is much easier to remove negative energy when there is no painful issue underfoot. And so that is what we would suggest. And we would suggest to look about addiction and addictions that may be under your nose, but you do not see them. And so you want to eradicate those as well. always moving to your purpose at the conclusion of these things. For this is why you want to maintain and sustain the body, so that there is the sustaining of the ability to complete the agreement that was made once, long ago. And so this is what we wanted to share. This is how we wanted to open up this time.